how are you? It's Dr. Muso. Today we want to do an A-level question. We want to talk about the San and the Khoikhoi. So here is our question. Compare the way of life of the San and the Khoikhoi. The way of life of the San and the Khoikhoi. So this is a comparison question. When you are looking at a comparison question, we have to talk about the similarities and also we talk about the differences. So we are going to talk about the similarities and the differences of the San and the Khoikhoi. Let's start with the similarities. The similarities between these two people. So we are going to say the San, then on the other side we say the Khoi. What were the similarities between these two groups? Number one, we see that the same they were involved in hunting. So these were hunters. At the same time, the Khoikhoi were also involved in hunting. We also see that these people they were gatherers. They gathered. At the same time, the Khoikhoi they were also gatherers. We also see that these people, they were involved in fishing, they were involved in pottery, they were involved in weaving, they were also involved in basketry. So the same people, they did fishing, they did pottery, they did weaving, they also did basketry. At the same time, the Khoikhoi were also involved in fishing, the Khoikhoi were also involved in pottery. The Khoikhoi were also involved in weaving. The Khoikhoi were also involved in basketry. So economically, we are seeing that the ways of life of the San and the Khoikhoi, they were similar in terms of how their economies were organized. Then let's move on and talk about politically how the San and the Khoikhoi were also similar. So we now want to talk about the similarities in terms of the political activities. On the political activities now, we see that these people now, they do not have so much features that were similar, but so many features that were similar can be seen on the social activities, on the social organization. We see that they both believed in God. They both believed in what? In a God. The God of the Khoikhoi was called Sugo, and we see that they believed in God, and their God was known as Kagen. But the bottom line is that these people, they both believed in God. Another issue, socially, we also see that these people now, they did a rock painting. Rock painting was done by these people, and we also see that the Khoikhoi, they were also involved in what? In rock painting. They painted on rocks depicting their ways of what? Of life. Then, socially now, we see that there were also some similarities between these two groups. One of the similarity was that these people, they told stories. They told stories to their children. The same applies to the Khoikhoi. They also told stories to their children about their ways of life. They also danced for the new and the full moon. And we also see here that the Khoikhoi also danced for the new and the and the full moon. So we are seeing some similarities in terms of their social activities. Now let's move on and talk about their differences. The differences between the same people and the differences between the Khoikhoi people. So what were the differences between these two groups? Let's start with the San. The San now, we see that they are somewhat different economically with the Khoikhoi in the sense that the Khoikhoi practiced agriculture, whilst the San did not practice what? Agriculture. The Khoikhoi, they kept cattle. Cattle, we see that the the Sen did not keep what? A cattle. We also see that the Khoikhoi, they paid tribute to their leaders to show respect. It was different from the Sen. They did not do that. Then we move on and talk about their differences, what are politically. Remember, politically, we have to say that there were slight similarities between these two groups. But now we have got so many differences between these two groups. Number one, we see that the same, they were led by an elderly person in the society, but these, they were led by a chief. Then we see that these didn't have a standing army. They did not have a what didn't have a standing army, but these had a standing army. So an army which was prepared to fight the what are the people. So these did not have what a standing what army. Then we move on. We see that these now in their political organization, all the members participated in their political activities. It was different to the Khoikhoi in the sense that the Khoikhoi, they had a council, and this council was supposed to give the chief advice on what was supposed to take place. So we are seeing a difference in the ways of life that were done by the Sen and the ways of life that were done by the Khoikhoi politically. The Sen now are centralizing their political system to the elderly member in the society, and elderly member now are supposed to be assisted by all the members in the society, but this was different to what the Khoikhoi were doing. What about the differences in terms of social? What were the social differences between these two groups? So we see that the same people, they believed in God, like what we've talked about, and their God was called again, but they prayed to God through the prayer mantis. But here now, they did not use or believe in the prayer mantis. Another difference was that the same they lived in small groups of about 5 to 35 people. But the Khoikhoi, they lived in large groups of about 200 members. So they lived in in a large groups. Then these, we see that they were nomads. They were nomads. They moved from place to place and looking for food. But these established are permanent homes. They had permanent homes. They did not move from place to place because they had adequate food. So we see again another difference between these people. Then we also see that there was a different socially done by the Sen and the Khoikhoi in the sense that the same people socially now we see that they believed that the elderly members in the society they're supposed to be the custodian of all their norms and and the values. But here it was somehow different. We see that it was now centered on all the members who were in the society. So we are seeing a difference socially that was done by the Sen and a difference again socially that was done by the Khoikhoi. So this is how you can answer this question. Remember, when you answer this question, now we talk about what the Sen did, and at the same time we talk about the Khoikhoi. That is what we call comparison. So you do like what I was doing. What the Sen did, the Khoikhoi did. What the Sen did, the Khoikhoi did. This is what we call comparison. Thank you so much. It's Dr. Muso.